big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed.
What if DMX's tragic struggles weren't just about addiction, but about speaking truth to power? Katt Williams believes the legendary rapper was systematically destroyed for refusing to stay quiet about industry corruption. Williams says both he and X face the same pattern: labeled as crazy, arrested repeatedly, and blackballed for exposing uncomfortable truths about moguls like Diddy. The comedian claims DMX was trying to warn everyone about a predatory system, but instead of protection, he got persecution. Could the industry's biggest tragedy have been prevented if people had listened? Katt Williams didn't hold back when he dropped his most explosive claim yet. The comedian stated that DMX spent years trying to warn people about Diddy, but nobody wanted to listen. Williams painted a picture of desperation and fear that shocked fans who knew DMX as one of hip-hop's toughest voices. According to Williams, the Ruff Ryders legend wasn't just battling personal demons, he was fighting against something much darker in the industry. The revelation raises serious questions about power dynamics in hip-hop. Why would DMX, a rapper who built his career on raw aggression and fearless honesty, be scared of anyone? Williams suggests the answer lies in understanding how the music business really operates behind closed doors. DMX worked alongside Diddy on various projects throughout his career, giving him insider access to operations that most artists never see. This proximity might have exposed him to dealings that made him uncomfortable. Williams noticed a disturbing pattern that connected his own experiences with DMX's struggles. Both men faced identical treatment after speaking out against industry corruption. They were labeled as crazy, unstable, and unreliable whenever they challenged powerful figures. The arrests piled up, the media painted them as troubled, and their credibility got systematically destroyed. Williams believes this wasn't coincidence, but calculated destruction designed to silence inconvenient voices. The comedian describes how the industry machine works to discredit whistleblowers. First comes the character assassination through planted stories about erratic behavior. Then law enforcement gets involved with arrests that seem disproportionate to the alleged crimes. Finally, the media narrative shifts to focus on personal problems rather than the allegations being made. Williams and DMX both experienced this exact sequence of events multiple times throughout their careers. Williams connects DMX's addiction battles to this larger system of control and manipulation. He suggests that what people saw as personal weakness was actually systematic destruction designed to break artists who refused to stay quiet. The drugs, legal troubles, and financial problems weren't just bad luck or poor choices. They were weapons used against someone who threatened to expose uncomfortable truths about how business gets done in hip-hop's upper levels. The comedian hints that DMX discovered disturbing information about Diddy's operations that went far beyond typical industry politics. Williams suggests that the legendary rapper witnessed behavior that crossed moral and possibly legal lines. DMX's attempts to warn other artists about what he saw were dismissed as the ramblings of someone struggling with addiction. But Williams believes these warnings were desperate attempts to protect younger artists from experiencing what DMX had witnessed firsthand. Williams reveals his belief that DMX recognized Diddy as part of a predatory system that destroys artists who won't stay silent. The bad boy mogul wasn't just another competitor or industry rival. He represented something much more dangerous to artists who valued their integrity over their bank accounts. DMX saw how the system rewarded compliance and punished resistance, and he refused to play along despite the personal cost. This perspective transforms DMX's struggles from a cautionary tale about addiction into something far more sinister. If Williams is correct, then the rapper's battles weren't just against drugs and legal troubles. He was fighting against forces that had the power to make or break careers with a single phone call. The question becomes what exactly DMX knew that made him so dangerous to powerful industry figures. His knowledge apparently posed enough of a threat that it required his complete destruction as a credible voice in hip-hop. DMX's old interviews hit different now that people know what Diddy's been accused of. The late rapper made comments that fans brushed off as drug-fueled rambling, but those same words sound like warnings when you hear them today. In one disturbing interview, DMX talked about Diddy rewording his artists. Most people didn't think much of it back then. They figured it was just industry talk, or maybe DMX speaking in code about contracts and business deals. Recent allegations against Diddy changed how people interpret those cryptic comments. Fans are going back through old footage wondering if DMX meant exactly what he said. The word rewording takes on a whole different meaning when you consider what victims have accused Diddy of doing behind closed doors. DMX wasn't known for speaking in riddles. When he said something, he usually meant it straight up. So, why would he use such strange language unless he was trying to say something he couldn't say directly? The Ruff Ryders legend dropped other hints about what artists had to do to get signed to Bad Boy Records. He suggested that some rappers in Diddy's circle were willing to do whatever it took to get that record deal. DMX hinted these artists were compromising themselves in ways that went beyond just changing their music or image. The implication was darker than typical industry politics. Artists weren't just selling their souls for fame, they were trading something much more personal and degrading. DMX's track, The Industry, reads like a prophecy now that more details have surfaced about how business really gets done in hip-hop's upper levels. He rapped about the business not being about talent, but playing dirty games. The lyrics cut straight to the heart of what DMX witnessed firsthand. The industry, man, it's not the same, doesn't have to do with talent, it's about playing the game. Those words weren't just commentary on record sales and radio play, they were about the twisted games that powerful moguls forced artists to play behind closed doors. The spiritual warrior spoke frequently about 3 encounters with the devil throughout his life. DMX explained that to make fair decisions, you had to understand both sides of the battle between good and evil. He said he recognized the devil by what was offered to him. These weren't abstract theological discussions. DMX was describing real conversations where he had to choose between God's side and the other one in the industry. The offers he received apparently came with strings attached that violated his moral code. DMX's experiences in Arizona became particularly significant when viewed through this lens. He claimed to meet the devil in that state and swore he would never return after what happened there. "I met the devil in God's country," he said about his time in Arizona. The location might seem random, but industry insiders know that powerful figures often conduct business away from prying eyes in major cities. Arizona provided the perfect isolated setting for meetings that needed to stay private. Looking back, DMX's cryptic language and spiritual metaphors were his way of exposing predatory behavior without making direct accusations. He couldn't call out specific names or describe exact incidents without facing legal consequences or industry retaliation. So he spoke in code, using religious imagery to paint a picture of the corruption he witnessed. The devil wasn't some abstract evil force. It was real people in real positions of power who offered artists deals that came with unconscionable costs. These warnings reveal that DMX was fighting battles against forces much bigger than addiction or legal troubles. He was trying to protect other artists from experiencing what he had witnessed firsthand in the industry's darkest corners. Diddy's empire reached billions, while DMX struggled to pay his bills. The contrast tells the real story about who gets protected in hip-hop and who gets thrown to the wolves. DMX faced constant media attacks, painting him as unstable, addicted, and violent. Meanwhile, Diddy sailed through decades of allegations without a scratch on his public image. The industry machine worked overtime to destroy one man while building another into an untouchable mogul. This treatment reveals a disturbing pattern that runs through the entire entertainment business. Artists who challenge the system get labeled as troublemakers. Their personal struggles become front-page news. Every arrest gets blown up into a major scandal. But the real predators? They get magazine covers and business awards. DMX never faced accusations of predatory behavior toward other artists or young people. Yet he got destroyed publicly while actual predators stayed protected behind walls of money and influence. Katt Williams experienced the exact same persecution when he started exposing uncomfortable truths about powerful moguls. The comedian faced arrest after arrest whenever he spoke out against industry corruption. Williams got arrested multiple times in situations that seemed designed to discredit him. He mentioned being arrested in a Walmart parking lot in Georgia, where guns were found, but charges never stuck. The pattern was always the same: big headlines about the arrest, but quiet dismissals when the cases fell apart. The most telling incident happened in 2014 when Williams got arrested with Suge Knight for allegedly grabbing a paparazzi's camera. Williams faced 20 years for what should have been a minor incident. But the comedian tells a different story about what really happened. He claims the paparazzi was trying to photograph Suge Knight's 5-year-old son urinating. Williams says the media twisted the situation to make it look like they randomly attacked the photographer. The legal system became a weapon to punish Williams for standing up to predatory behavior. Williams believes he's been systematically targeted for exposing uncomfortable truths about powerful moguls. Every time he calls out industry corruption, mysterious legal troubles appear. The arrests pile up with charges that never quite stick. His credibility gets attacked while the real criminals stay protected. The system works perfectly to silence voices that threaten the established power structure. Both DMX and Williams got hit with the same labels whenever they challenged the system: difficult, crazy, unreliable. These words become weapons to destroy credibility and dismiss serious allegations. The media repeats these characterizations until they become accepted truth. Nobody listens to crazy people, so their warnings get ignored while the corruption continues unchecked. The industry's protection of certain figures while destroying others shows the true power structure that DMX died fighting against. Money and connections determine who survives scandals and who gets buried by them. Artists who play along get rewarded with success and protection. Those who speak out get systematically destroyed through legal harassment, media attacks, and industry blacklisting. This pattern proves that speaking truth to power in hip-hop comes with a deadly price that few artists are willing to pay. DMX paid that price with his life, destroyed by forces much bigger than addiction or personal problems. Williams continues paying it with ongoing persecution that never seems to end. The industry sends a clear message to anyone thinking about exposing its secrets: stay quiet or face complete destruction. Most artists choose silence over suicide, leaving the corruption to continue claiming new victims who dare to speak out. DMX's tragic story might hold the key to understanding who really controls hip-hop and what happens to those who refuse to stay silent. The rapper's battles weren't just against addiction. They were against a system that destroys artists who threaten its power structure. His warnings about industry corruption got dismissed as drug-fueled rambling, but recent events make those words sound prophetic. If Katt Williams is right, then the industry's biggest loss wasn't just a talented rapper, but a truth-teller who paid the ultimate price for speaking out. The question remains: will anyone listen to these warnings, or will the cycle continue claiming more victims who dare to speak out?